Hey y'all, how you doing? So we're going to talk a little bit about honey processing and some of the equipment that you might want and need. Also, we'll get into a little bit of wax as well. So let's get into it. Excuse the mess, we're in the middle of preparing for the market. So anyway, maybe I can get some better light on this. So I use an old crock pot for melting down my wax. And I'll show you a different option when you get into heavier amounts of wax. And then I'll put it into a press and let it cool, or a mold to form. And then I'll save these bars aside in a bag until needed for, at a later time. Whether it's for, you can make chapsticks, you can make salves, you can make candles, all sorts of different things. Soaps. I also use it for my mason jar hives for combed honey. So there's a plethora of different uses for the wax. Sometimes you can even just sell the wax. Young beekeepers and just people in general will be willing to buy just raw wax or filtered wax as well. Straying from topic just a little bit, but yet still being on point. You can get yourself a tool like this. Is a heated uncapping tool. You just plug it into the wall. They do sell serrated cold uncapping tools. You've got cap scrapers, and so I use that to cut the capped comb off of my frames of honey before I process them, and then I will strain it through this. I made up this little box here, and then I just double strain it, and that keeps a lot of the contaminants out, and that will fill up this 5-gallon bucket, at which point I will then strain once again using these top 2 strainers, releasing it from the honey gate into my honey bucket, and that's about 5 gallons if I remember right. But then that begs the question, how do you get the honey out of the frame? Let's go find out. So there's many different options and whatnot available. I opted for a manual crank. This here is a Sievin. My specific model number is 400174 Alpha. There's different kinds you can get, different sizes. This one here, I can do 3 medium frame or 3 deep frames, or I can do 12 medium frames. And then it just collects down there at the bottom, and once again you've got the honey gate, which is then actually when I will pour into the honey one. And that's when I'll pour it into the honey. When you get into heavier volumes of wax, you can use this one here as a maxant. I got all sorts of junk in there. This is a mass wax melter. I'm not really certain on the exact nomenclature, the right term on that off the top of my head right now. But this is when you start getting to more serious amounts of wax you can melt down using something like this. When you're first starting off, or you have smaller volumes, the crock pots work great. So you just need a few tools, really. You don't need to have a big whole lot. You can always start with something small, get into bigger equipment. As you move along, I had the opportunity to get into it all at once, so I seized the moment. But yeah, you just really need some sort of a decapping device to cut your cappings off your honey. your honey frames. You need some sort of a honey extractor. Uh, you want yourself some good mesh strainers, plastic, metal, just whatever you prefer or whatever you can find. Some buckets for the honey as you're cleaning everything up. The wax one, I usually just let honey kind of drip into as I'm capping it, and then that filters it all out. And then at the end of everything, I transfer that honey through the other strainers, and the honey then from the honey extractor will pour directly into the that honey bucket. It's not going to hurt it to filter it again, and I usually do that anyways, just because there's still good chance for dead bees and loose comb wax that could still potentially get into it. So you'll need that. You'll need an extractor, and then it's very beneficial to have something to melt your wax down. And I showed you the small volume option, as well as when you get into heavier volumes of comb. First, young beekeepers, they're not really going to have the resources to justify, and I'm not even at the point. This is my 4th year beekeeping. I don't have the resource. I don't have the wax resources to really justify that wax melter. But when I get to that point, that's one less thing I have to worry about. So beekeeping's expensive, but there's ways you can kind of reduce the cost and spread it out over time. Do what you can afford, and there's all sorts of different ways that you can go about it. You can even create a solar wax melter, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube and Facebook and whatnot. So just look around. Don't be afraid to experiment, try new things, and keep within your budget. There's no sense in breaking your budget or going into debt over the bees when there's frugal ways that you can go about it, if that's what your budget requires of you, or if you just simply want to be frugal. But you can also most certainly go into the deeper ends, and I wouldn't say I've gone to the full extent of deeper, more expensive things. There's definitely more expensive options out there, but that's just kind of the basics of wax and processing honey. I hope that helped you out some. Hope you learned something new with that. Shop local, support local as much as you can. Local honey is better for you when you got allergies. And we appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Hope you have a blessed and productive day. Y'all stay blessed now.